Welcome to Cape Town News. Today is Sunday, the 13th of April 2025, and in case you missed it, here's a recap of the top stories that made headlines in the Western Cape this past week. With the Easter travel period fast approaching, the Western Cape government has launched a province-wide campaign offering free 10-point vehicle safety checks to all motorists. The initiative is part of the Department of Mobility's road safety strategy aimed at reducing fatalities during the high-risk holiday season. The safety inspections, offered at selected garages and testing stations, include checks on tires, brakes, lights, windscreen wipers, and fluid levels. Mobility MEC Ricardo Mackenzie said the province wants to encourage responsible vehicle maintenance and travel habits. We're urging all motorists to make use of this free service before embarking on long-distance travel. A properly maintained vehicle can save lives, he stated. Traffic law enforcement will also be ramped up along major highways with increased visibility of officers, roadblocks, and alcohol testing. In 2024, more than 30 lives were lost on Western Cape roads during Easter weekend alone. Authorities say early preparation is key to reducing those figures this year. Drivers are encouraged to book their checks early to avoid last-minute congestion. The campaign will run throughout the week, leading up to Easter. A fresh wave of gang violence has rocked Gugulethu, Cape Town, after 4 men were shot and killed in NY 112 on Sunday evening. According to SAP's spokesperson Sergeant Wesley Twigg, the victims were standing outside a local residence when 2 unknown gunmen opened fire from a moving vehicle before fleeing the scene. 3 of the victims died on the spot, while a 4th succumbed to injuries in hospital shortly after. All 4 were men aged between 25 and 40. Police have not ruled out gang affiliations as a motive, with the anti-gang unit now leading the investigation. Community members report escalating tensions in the area linked to turf wars between rival extortion groups. "We're tired of living in fear," said one local resident. "Every week there's another shooting. This can't continue." No arrests have been made at this stage. SAPS is urging anyone with information to contact Crime Stop on 086 00101111. The Western Cape government has partnered with First National Bank, FNB, to hand over 71 original title deeds to homeowners across the province. The milestone forms part of a housing subsidy initiative aimed at assisting financially distressed residents by using approved subsidies to settle outstanding loans, cancel bonds, and issue title deeds. This joint venture, which also includes legal firm DTB Incorporated and is overseen by project manager Dion van Deventer, supports a total of 224 potential beneficiaries. The Western Cape Department of Infrastructure has already approved 113 applications, with 41 more currently being processed. The 71 recipients are from a broad spread of communities including Belleville, Blue Downs, Goodwood, Grassy Park, Khayelitsha, Kleinvlei, and Mitchell's Plain in the Cape Metro, as well as Worcester, Pacaltsdorp, Riversdale, Stellenbosch and Wellington outside the metro region. Among the most heartening stories was that of the oldest beneficiary, an 83-year-old who will now receive full ownership of their home. One of the bonds cancelled dates back to 1985, highlighting the long journey some residents have endured. Simmers thanked FNB and all stakeholders, saying the program reflects the province's commitment to accelerating housing delivery and providing sustainable financial relief to the vulnerable. A fierce blaze tore through the Fola Park informal settlement in Wellington early Sunday morning, destroying over 200 homes, claiming the life of a woman and displacing dozens of families. Drakenstein Municipality's fire and rescue services were on the scene within minutes, joined by crews from Stellenbosch Municipality half an hour later. Despite battling strong southeasterly winds, firefighters managed to extinguish the flames by around 5 a.m. A total of 5 pumpers and 3 bushfire vehicles were deployed to contain the blaze, The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Disaster relief efforts were swiftly activated, with humanitarian aid organization Gift of the Givers providing hot meals, bottled water, and immediate support on site. Cleanup operations began on Monday morning, with the municipality's solid waste management, engineering, and housing teams on the ground. Residents have been urged not to rebuild until officials declare the area safe. The Western Cape government has unveiled plans for Cape Town's first inner-city affordable housing development, which will be built within the Liu Loop precinct, a key site formerly owned by South African National Roads Agency Limited, SANRAL, in the heart of the city. Premier Alan Winde and Provincial Infrastructure Minister Tertuis Simmers made the announcement on Tuesday, calling the project a milestone in the province's vision for integrated urban living. The site is strategically located within walking distance of schools, transport, and job hubs. The mixed-use development will include over 840 housing opportunities, with around 350 units set aside for affordable housing and the remainder available on the open market, with a focus on affordable rentals and social housing for low to middle-income earners. The project is set to be delivered in phases, with construction expected to begin within the next 12 months. This new development also forms part of the province's wider plan to counter spatial inequality and increase access to well-located, dignified housing. According to officials, infrastructure upgrades and sustainable urban planning principles will be at the core of this initiative. The provincial government believes this is a long overdue step towards spatial justice, especially in a city still shaped by apartheid-era planning. Community consultations are ongoing, with residents encouraged to submit feedback during the early design phase. Heavy downpours wreaked havoc across Cape Town on Tuesday, causing widespread flooding, road closures, and multiple traffic accidents. The city's Disaster Risk Management Centre confirmed that several roads were submerged, particularly in low-lying areas such as parts of Strand, Belleville South, and Philippi. Emergency services responded to dozens of call-outs as vehicles were stranded in rising waters. At least 4 major intersections were closed, with Metrorail also reporting service delays on affected lines. The South African Weather Service had issued warnings of localized flooding, with between 40 and 60 millimeters of rain recorded in some areas within 24 hours. The city has urged motorists to reduce speed, avoid flooded roads, and ensure that vehicle lights and wipers are functioning properly. Cleanup teams are assessing damage, and the Roads and Stormwater Department is working to clear blocked drains and restore access. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis is under investigation following a complaint laid at Botasuk SAPS, alleging that he abused his power in a dispute involving a property in Edgemed, where his mother-in-law resides. The complaint, registered as an intimidation case, is currently being assessed by the National Prosecuting Authority. The issue stems from a land use disagreement between a local resident and the mayor, who is accused of weaponizing his office to harass the resident. The complainant claims that the matter began as a neighborhood dispute, but escalated into legal territory after Hill-Lewis allegedly made intimidating comments and misused his influence. In response, a spokesperson for the city said that the mayor merely reported a suspected land use violation, as any resident is entitled to do. The official who responded was a qualified land use inspector, and the matter is being handled through regular enforcement protocols. The case has stirred debate about ethical governance and accountability, particularly concerning the boundaries of public office in private disputes. Opposition parties are calling for transparency as the investigation progresses. Concerns have intensified over the continued closure of the Kensington police station's holding cells, with claims that detainees are being kept in police vans and office spaces due to unsafe cell conditions. The issue has reignited fears about community safety, particularly as gang-related shootings and reported escapes from custody put pressure on already stretched local law enforcement. According to Ward Councillor Cheslin Steenberg, problems began years ago when a snake was discovered in the water pipes, prompting an investigation that ultimately deemed the cell ventilation system unfit for housing suspects. SAPS shut the cells, forcing detainees to be transported to Maitland Police Station daily. Residents say the temporary arrangements create a security gap during shift changes when patrol vehicles are unavailable. A police insider revealed that 2 detainees recently escaped while being held in a van due to the dysfunctional cells. SAPS spokesperson Andre Trout confirmed the closure and said that plans are underway to address the problem and restore proper holding facilities. On the 7th of April 2025, Western Cape Mobility Minister Isaac Sileku delivered a dynamic R3.2 billion budget that places the province's residents at the centre of transport planning and investment. Addressing the Western Cape Provincial Parliament, Minister Sileku outlined bold plans to improve public transport, tackle congestion, revive rail services, and build safer, more connected communities. To address this, the department is finalising its provincial land transport framework and will launch a public participation process to invite community input. Significant investment is earmarked for expanding the Go George service, which currently transports 21,000 passengers daily and reaches 75% of George households. The department also reaffirmed support for PRASA's rail recovery, with live testing already underway on the Khayelitsha line and Mitchell's Plain next in line. Support for the minibus taxi industry, which transports 1.5 million people daily, includes training programs, conflict resolution, and industry professionalization. Rural regions like the Central Karoo will benefit from improved intertown transport access to essential services. Sileku also announced a business case to revitalise the Overberg Freight Corridor, strengthening agricultural links between Caledon, Belleville, and the Port of Cape Town. A manhunt that spanned nearly a year has ended with the arrest of Ayazola China Fulu, one of Cape Town's most wanted suspects, in connection with the murder of Constable Akho Nzingo, a police officer and Premier Soccer League referee. Fulu, aged 30, was captured in Mafuleni by the Hawks Serious and Violent Crime Investigation Team after being linked to over 10 murders and 5 attempted murders in Khayelitsha and Gugulethu West between 2021 and 2024. He briefly appeared in the Khayelitsha Magistrates Court on Wednesday. The Hawks confirmed that Fulu was identified as the shooter in the June 12, 2024 killing of Constable Nzingo during a routine crime prevention patrol in Site B, Khayelitsha. Hawks spokesperson Zinzi Hani said Fulu was tracked down through a meticulous investigation. He has since been charged with murder, and prosecutors are expected to oppose bail when the case returns to court on 25 April. Cape Town will no longer host the B20 South Africa 2025 summit, with organisers confirming the event's relocation to Johannesburg. The Business Forum, a key engagement group of the G20, was initially expected to bring over 2,000 delegates to the mother city, including high-level executives and international representatives. The decision to shift the venue was driven by the need to host the B20 closer to the G20 summit, which is scheduled for 22 to 23 November 2025. The B20 summit will now take place in Johannesburg from 18 to 20 November, as confirmed by Anthony Costa, head of the B20 South Africa Secretariat. Costa explained that although the B20 is not a policy-making body, it plays a critical advisory role to the G20 on matters affecting the global business community. We don't make policy, we don't implement policy, but we advocate, we develop, and we advocate for policy, said Costa. The move is a major blow to the Western Cape tourism and hospitality sectors, which stood to benefit significantly from hosting the international event. With the change, Johannesburg will now receive global exposure, welcoming over 20 heads of state and the CEOs of major multinationals, including a possible visit by US President Donald Trump. Preparations are underway in Gauteng to ensure infrastructure and accommodation can handle the scale of the summit. Armed with second-hand bikes and determination stronger than their steel frames, 3 young men from Limpopo are nearing the end of a 1,700-kilometer journey from Burgersfort to Cape Town, capturing national attention and inspiring a movement along the way. Gauta Malakwani, 22, Karabo Moku, 21, and Maxwell Ndu, 24, set off on the 2nd of April with no sponsors, no training, and no high-end gear, just backpacks, courage, and a dream. They braved harsh weather, physical exhaustion, and even run-ins with law enforcement for mistakenly cycling on freeways. Nights were often spent at petrol stations or police stops. Their journey went viral thanks to TikTok updates, and support came flooding in. The Matenji Boutique Hotel Group stepped up with food, clothing, tire repairs, and even medical assistance from PrinceMed EMS. The hotel's owner, Mametla Makeke, pledged further support, safe Cape Town lodging, leisure experiences, and even flights home. The trio hoped to launch a bike club for young men in Limpopo to encourage healthy, drug-free lifestyles. A crowdfunding campaign is already live to help make that dream a reality. They are expected to arrive in Cape Town by Sunday, turning disbelief into inspiration, one pedal stroke at a time. Cape Town will start the week with a cool, partly cloudy morning and inland lows around 12 degrees Celsius. Coastal areas like Muizenberg and Bloubergstrand will be slightly warmer at 14 degrees Celsius. Temperatures will rise to a mild 21 degrees Celsius by midday, with a light southeasterly breeze of 15 to 25 kilometers per hour expected across the metro. Swells along the Atlantic seaboard will range between 2.1 and 2.7 meters, peaking in the evening. False Bay will remain calmer, with waves reaching 1.5 to 2 meters, offering better conditions for swimmers and small vessels. High tide will occur at 9:11 and again at 21:38, while low tide will be at 15:03. These cycles may lead to brief coastal pooling during high tide. The sun will rise at 7:12 and set at 6:16, wrapping the day in a brisk but clear autumn atmosphere. That's all for this week's recap on Cape Town News. If you found this update helpful, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. We appreciate your support. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, informed, and connected.